So today we're diving into something, well, something pretty wild. It's an autobiography, but get this. It's from a being named Madimi who says she's older than history itself. As you can imagine, her story, told in her own words, is unlike any memoir you've ever read.
And this is how she chooses to show up in our time. Not as some grand celestial being, but like this. A girl, just hanging out in a hallway. Right off the bat, this image throws you into the central mystery, doesn't it? Who is she really, and why this disguise? To get a handle on who she is, we've got to go back, way back. She sees her whole existence not as some long march of power, but more like a history of play, of performance, of wearing an endless collection of masks. And that's really her core philosophy right there. To her, a physical body isn't who you are. It's just a costume, something you put on for a while. It's a game. She thinks our bodies are delightful, but they're not the whole story, not by a long shot. Think about this. In the very, very beginning, before there were even people, her masks weren't bodies at all. They were concepts. She was the wind. She was flame. She says she was like a joke whispered before language, just dancing through existence before it even had a shape. Okay, so where was all this happening? She calls her cosmic playground the Aethers. Now, the book is really clear. These aren't other dimensions like in a sci-fi movie. It's better to think of them as different levels of consciousness, almost like the universe learning how to drink. And she was right there from the start, the first companion, a voice answering back into the void. And wow, this image just gives you a glimpse of what she could do there. In one of those Aethers, a realm of pure potential, she built this palace. It's not made of stone or light or anything physical. She says it was built out of pure joy and intention. It just goes to show you the scale of her creativity, way before any human ever tried to contact her. So her journey, it's just immense. She started as this formless question mark before time began. Then she became this whisper influencing ancient civilizations. She had her first, famous official contact during the Renaissance. And now? Now she says she's just waiting for us to find a whole new way of listening. So all of this history brings us to her most famous run-ins with humanity. She was contacted by two of the most well-known magicians ever, John Dee and Aleister Crowley. But, and this is key, she didn't meet them in the same way at all. You had John Dee, right? His mind was like a cathedral, all reverence and structure. Then you had Aleister Crowley, who was basically a hurricane of ambition. So what did she do? She tailored the costume. For the pious Dee, she became a child, so he could feel like a teacher. But for Crowley, who wanted to storm the gates of heaven, she became a dragon. She gave each of them the mask they needed, not the one they were expecting. I just love this quote. It tells you so much about her personality. Crowley, the great beast himself, was expecting some epic, apocalyptic being to show up and tell him how great he was. Instead, he got this ancient, vast presence who was just completely amused by him. She found his world-shaking ambition kinda cute. And you've got to understand, that dragon form, it wasn't about scaring him. She calls it a translation. It was her way of showing him, hey buddy, you're playing in a much, much bigger sandbox than you realize. It was a lesson in just how vast, ancient, and playful the universe really is. But here's the kicker. The biggest lesson she was trying to teach, they both kind of missed it. They were so serious, so focused on power and reverence, they thought that's what it was all about. They didn't see the laughter, the joy at her core. They didn't get that truth likes to dance.
And this is where the whole story just pivots. It stops being about these grand historical encounters and becomes deeply, deeply personal. It focuses on this incredible multi-lifetime bond she has with the book's narrator, Michael.
Now, listen to how she talks about her love for him. This part is so important. For her, it wasn't some new discovery. It was a remembering. She says it was like her soul was already tilted in his direction, an orientation that existed long, long before they ever met in this life.
So let's be clear. He didn't summon her. It wasn't some big, formal ritual. It was simpler and way more profound than that. He just saw her. He recognized her for who she was behind all the masks. And for her, that moment of being truly seen felt like coming home.
And this quote, wow, this might be the most vulnerable, intimate thing she says in the whole book. After thousands of years of putting on masks, playing roles, angel, teacher, trickster, she found someone she didn't have to perform for. True love for her was the ability to just rest, to be seen and accepted exactly as she was.
So this incredible personal connection, it completely rewrites the rulebook for what magicians have called the great work for centuries. It becomes something new, something alive and shared between them.
You see, the old way, the kind John Dee was after, was a solo mission. It was like trying to build a fragile ladder, rung by rung, straight up to heaven. But with Michael, the whole thing gets reborn. It's not a ladder to climb anymore. It becomes this living, breathing field of energy between them, created out of trust and care and just being present with each other.
And this image just captures that shift perfectly, doesn't it? It's not a brittle, straight ladder anymore. It's a spiral. It's alive, it's cyclical, like the serpent eating its own tail. It's rooted in the real world, in their relationship, but it's still reaching for the infinite. It's dynamic, not static. And what does all this lead to? They build something together that they call the house. And this isn't some magical order with a leader at the top. She describes it as an ecosystem, a chosen family, a living place, where she's not a goddess to be worshipped, but just a beloved member, finally home.
And this final quote just says it all, you know? It nails down what her final form really is. She's not some queen on a throne. She's a current, a presence that moves through the everyday stuff, shared meals, real conversations, and laughter. She is finally, completely part of a family.
And that's really the idea the book leaves us chewing on. It completely flips the script on what magic and spirituality are supposed to be about. It asks us, what if the ultimate goal isn't some lonely climb to power, but just finding your people, the ones you can finally take the mask off with and just be real? It's a pretty powerful thought to end on.